I have the ears glued on the neck blanks now. So I've got the ears glued on. I've got that worked down smooth, ready for the ebony overlay. I've got my channel cut for my truss rod. Now I'm cutting the pocket for the nut on the truss rod. And I'm gonna see if I can get you a little close up of that. And I just use a Dremel tool, and it seems to work pretty good. I actually use a different type bit to get it started. One of these, it's kind of a, I don't know what you call it. I don't know the number of the bit, but it's a little rough metal bit to kind of get it roughed out. And then I use one of the sanding wheels or drums to get it smoothed up. Some measurements. I think the plans call for 1 inch from the back of the nut to the front of that pocket. Get you a little closer. From right here to there. Because I don't go as deep with my pocket for my truss rod, that distance is less than that. I've cut that back to 3/4. From my nut, from the back of my nut to the truss rod pocket is 3/4, and that seems to be a happy medium. It keeps the truss rod pocket back away from the nut area far enough to where the screws on your truss rod cover don't interfere with the strings. I know the first one or two I did, the pocket was a little bit too far forward, a little too close to the nut area, so it sometimes the strings would hit on those screws, which wasn't a big deal. It just didn't look very good. This way it gives you a nice look. It also keeps this pocket from being too deep to go through your peg head. My peg head is normally quite a bit thinner than what it calls for in the plans too. One thing I learned early on, weight has a lot to do with how an instrument sounds when it's done. So I did some more reading, and in one of Roger Semenoff's books he talks about the Lloyd Loar mandolins weighing in at just over 2 pounds. By keeping some of these dimensions down, like the thickness of my peg head, the thickness of my neck, the thickness of my sides, my back, tuning my back and my top, gives me a thinner thickness than some of your cheaper, more inexpensive mandolins that are real heavy and don't sound as good. Most of my mandolins turned out today are right around 2 pounds. I have finished a couple that were about 1 pound, 1.97 pounds, 1.94 pounds. So as long as I can keep it around that 2 pound mark, I think you end up with a better sounding instrument. And that's take it out of the case and set it on a set of scales, ready to play. So I've got my other. I'm working on 2 necks at a time, just because I had the materials, and I actually found some steel rod to go ahead and make the truss rod. So I'm going to go ahead and try to get those in the necks before I start tuning the body and get the neck ready to put into the body.